The following is a production of Florida State University's Office of University Communications. Coming up on FSU Headlines. Ring the bell. It's back to school time at Florida State University. Florida State scientists study the dangers cave divers face below and above. And hello, football. The Seminoles' 2015 season is officially underway. Stay tuned for these stories and much, much more. FSU Headlines starts now. Hello and welcome to another edition of FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker.
And I'm Nora Bertollet. We're broadcasting here in the magnificent Heritage Museum in Dodd Hall at Florida State University.
The Heritage Museum documents the university's history and traditions from its earliest days back in 1851 all the way to today. This beautiful space is open to students, alumni, and the general public.
Well, speaking of alumni and traditions, FSU wrapped up the end of the summer by sending off the latest class of graduates with some wise words from an alumna and NASA scientist. Take a look.
Well, good morning. How's everybody? I'm John Thrasher, president of Florida State University, and I welcome you to our summer commencement exercises.
I am very, very, very excited, very excited.
We are assembled this morning to pay tribute to our graduates who have worked hard to earn their degrees and who will today embark on new journeys. On behalf of the university and this assembly, I congratulate them and wish them every single success.
There's definitely no other school that can prepare me like Florida State. The social skills that I learned here have definitely propelled me to the next level.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a distinct honor to welcome our commencement speaker, Dr. Gail Jackson.
I know that FSU has instilled in you the knowledge to succeed, the ability to recognize inspiration, defy gravity and flourish, be massive and influential, and stay interconnected. Let gravity work for you. Go Noles!
On the recommendation of the faculty of Florida State University, it is my pleasure to recognize you, Max Gunsberger, as the Robert O. Lawton Distinguished Professor for 2015 and 2016. Congratulations, sir. And now, for the main event. And now, you can change your tassels from right to left and be seated.
I am an emotional wreck. I've been crying all week. I'm very nervous because actually I am getting ready to leave something that this Tallahassee has become basically my home. So I'm leaving here to go to another place that I don't have any family. I really don't have any friends in New York. So I'm starting all over. So I'm excited, but I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm hopeful. But then also I can just say I'm blessed.
Frank W. Caswell. Nicole Marie Backergy, magna cum laude. Daryl Benig Raymondo. Anthony Francis Cabrera, magna cum laude. Inez Karina Michelina, magna cum laude. Danny Diaz. Amalia Heinemann, cum laude.
And nearly 2,700 students earned their degrees this summer, and about 1,400 of those were in attendance at that graduation ceremony.
And as we bid a fond farewell to the newest group of FSU alumni, we say hello and welcome to Florida State University's next class of more than 6,000 students.
It's an old tradition here at Florida State. The university president, faculty, and upperclassmen all welcome the new class on the eve of the fall semester to introduce those freshmen to the university's values and traditions.
Here's Florida State's new Student Convocation ceremony.
I welcome the entering class of 2015 to the new Student Convocation. Few things are more worthy of celebration than and the entry of a new class of students into the university.
I'm excited to learn new things. I really want to get engaged in the Pride Student Union. I feel like that'd be really cool. Maybe like an exercise club that goes out to the res and learn like a lot more, expand on what I learned in high school.
3 torches on the Florida State seal, VERYs, RTs, MOREs, represent some of the core values of this university, and they are strength, skill, and character.
I chose FSU because there's like a spot for everyone here. If you're into like music, if you're into theater, if you're into like everything, there's like something for you to do here.
So it's the first time that you get to see a lot of important faces like the president, vice president. There'll be a lot of speeches and they'll get a lot of good information about what it means to be a part of the Seminole community.
Say Shanabish, Mado, thank you.
This relationship that exists between FSU and the Seminole tribe is very unique. You know, FSU is the Seminoles. It's important that the new students know that partnership and relationship exists, and you know, just be very supportive of one another.
One more time, go Noles! We are a family, and we stick together.
I'm excited just to become part of the family and become like just one as a whole. Like you can connect with basically anyone across the world. Like I went to Florida State and they know like what Florida State is. They've heard of it. They've like been there. They know someone who's been there. It's just like really cool to be here.
Along with learning the university's alma mater and reading the Seminole Creed with their new fellow classmates, the class of 2019 also heard words of advice from keynote speaker Florida Congresswoman Gwen Graham.
What makes you smile? What keeps you going, unaware of the hours passing by? What gets you excited? That's what you should be doing in life. It's important to get good grades, to go to football games, to be involved, to be excited about midnight. But the scholarship and fun are both part of a larger mission. Over the next 4 years, find your passion, do it with love and respect, and never give up. If you can do those 3 things, you'll do more than learn and have fun. You'll discover who you really are and what is your place in making this world better. Thank you so much for giving me the honor of speaking to you today. I was so excited about this. Good luck. Good luck as you start classes. And go Noles. Go Noles.
Fall classes at Florida State began August 24th, but a special group of incoming freshmen immersed themselves in service before classes ever began.
Can we all commit to this as a large group?
40 freshman students spent the week before school learning about themselves, their classmates, and their new home here in Tallahassee. Florida State's Service Leadership Seminar allowed the new students to participate in different team-building activities and service projects developed by the coordinators at Florida State's Center for Leadership and Social Change.
Well, I think it's so important to get students off campus and into the community. When I was a student, I think part of the reason that I decided to stay and work in this community and live in this community and put down roots in this community is because as a student, I got out in the community and started working with the local nonprofits and really was impassioned by the nature of this community and all the wonderful things that Tallahassee has to offer.
For the first few days, the students participated in games and workshops to build communication, planning, and other leadership skills. Then the freshmen divided into small groups to put their introspective and leadership development to practice. They also learned about some of the organizations that make up the Tallahassee community during the service portion of the seminar.
I've learned that I need to be more open and listen to what people have to say before casting prejudgment, and that was an eye-opening thing for me that I learned this week. And just going into that, especially starting college, that's been helpful.
And to learn more about Florida State's Center for Leadership and Social Change, visit thecenter.fsu.edu online. Well, coming up next on FSU Headlines, Florida State welcomes some of its best and brightest students to campus.
I really think that when it comes down to the core of it, the Presidential Scholars Program is combining a group of high-achieving leaders, in my opinion, that not only are built to develop with one another, but to kind of focus on the important aspects of what it means to be in college and how to build that community with other people as leaders.
We'll show you how these presidential scholars are blazing a new trail at Florida State when FSU Headlines continues in a moment.
I will forever bleed garnet and gold, and I will forever be here at heart.
Florida State is monumental in my academic and professional career, I think.
The professors are some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life.
We've always known we wanted to go to Florida State. We're going to go to Florida State.
FSU helped me so much by giving me all the resources that I could need to succeed.
An amazing experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
When you purchase a Florida State University license plate, you're supporting students, like me. Tag, you're in.
Welcome back to this back-to-school edition of FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker.
And I'm Nora Bertollet. We've shown you how several of the new freshmen at Florida State University have started their college careers early. But there's another group set to make its mark on FSU too.
That's right, Nora. The high-achieving students in Florida State's Presidential Scholars Program spent their first few days on campus getting to know each other and planning an exciting college journey. Here's FSU Headlines reporter Mark Vaughn with more.
My name is Will Harrison.
When Georgia native Will Harrison made the decision to attend FSU over other top institutions, it had a lot to do with the opportunity to be a presidential scholar. He sees the highly competitive Presidential Scholars Program as an opportunity to develop as a leader.
I think working with the Presidential Scholars has really helped us not only to create a group dynamic among us, but also realize that what college is for. You know, kind of defining the aims of college and what we look to expect and get out of college, but also how we can contribute that and make that experience better for everyone that would be incoming as a freshman.
Assistant Dean of Undergraduate Studies Craig Filer says the goal of the program is to provide a premier scholarship for transformational leaders and engaged scholars on FSU's campus.
Presidential Scholars is a program that was initiated in the fall of 2014, where we sought out and recruited top-end students from around the state and from around the country who we were hoping to attract to campus to be part of this new community of scholars, to build critical thinkers, engaged community leaders, and hopefully folks that would help transform our campus and our community through their vision and through their engagement at Florida State University.
The Presidential Scholars Program attracts the best and brightest students to the university. That was a big part of why John Powell came to FSU from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
I enjoy a challenge academically. I like to go around and take the hard classes, especially with physics. Physics is really fun because it's kind of just problem solving where you have no idea what to do at the beginning and you kind of figure it out as you go along. So it's really nice to have like-minded individuals in that aspect that like the challenge.
You can take a leadership position in telling them about things or informing them and helping them make better choices.
The program doesn't concentrate solely on academics. The program also offers support to help students shape their entire college experience.
I'm a very high achiever, but I also think it's very important to be part of a community, and I think the Presidential Scholars is something that really fosters that and also helps us develop our skills as a leader, but also as a community.
One way the program creates cohesiveness is by having the class come up with a public service initiative as a group. 2014's first cohort of scholars got off to a blazing start.
Knowing about the energy that the cohort that we already brought to campus last year has, there's so much potential in what these students will be able to accomplish.
And the second cohort of 26 presidential scholars arrived on campus in mid-August for a two-day leadership summit where they did team-building exercises, interacted with speakers, and discussed the development of this group's public service initiative. This year's group is certainly ready to hit the ground running in their collegiate careers.
Working with the Presidential Scholars has really helped us not only to create a group dynamic among us, but also realize that what college is for. You know, kind of defining the aims of college and what we look to expect and get out of college, but also how we can contribute that and make that experience better for everyone that would be incoming as a freshman.
For FSU Headlines, I'm Mark Vaughn.
Along with the new class of freshmen, nearly 1,000 new graduate students arrived on FSU's campus for the start of the fall semester. Florida State University is making sure the new wave of upperclassmen is set for success thanks to the new graduate student orientation.
Being a graduate student is very different from being an undergraduate. We're going to address that a little bit.
Graduate students are so important to this university. They're central to our mission as a research university, and we're just really pleased that they chose to come here and to welcome them here today.
But lots of times it's really important to get to know people outside your program. And a great opportunity is to do that is orientation like this, and as I say, some of the many other events.
It's not one of those things where you feel like you're wasting your time being here. It's really helpful. It made me feel like FSU is the place I should be and like I'm welcomed here.
One of the big things for me going from undergrad to graduate school.
So we have a panel of several faculty from across the campus, lots of different programs, and also graduate students, both master's and doctoral. And we thought it would be a good idea just to have a discussion of what are their tips for success and progressing through one's graduate program in a nice, timely manner. We just want to give them the big picture of what the university is all about, tell them about the kind of resources and services that are available to them as graduate students.
The main purpose is to sort of help get people acclimated to the university and what to expect, what resources there are.
To learn more about graduate programs and resources for graduate students at Florida State, visit gradschool.fsu.edu.
One of the most iconic symbols of the medical profession is the physician's white coat.
Florida State's newest class of medical students enjoy the honor of getting their white coats during a special ceremony that teaches them the ideals of the profession.
Take a look at how FSU welcomed 120 new students to medical school.
Actually putting on the white coat it's still unreal. Like it hasn't settled yet, but you know, just knowing that all my hard work is actually coming into play now it's amazing, really.
Well, good evening. I'm very pleased to be with you on this wonderful event for the class of 2019, your day, and I heartily congratulate you on the completion of your first semester of medical school.
Very excited to have all my family here, both my parents, my aunt, my grandpa, everyone's here. So it was just fantastic to share that experience with everybody sitting next to me and with my family.
They're not just coming to a school, they're joining a profession, they're joining the profession of medicine. It's so important for them to understand the culture, the ethics, the values, and all that go along with becoming a doctor. Putting on that white coat, you could see some of them were walking a little prouder, a little taller as they were going across the stage. And it's a great way for us to welcome them to the profession and also reward them for the hard work that they've had. We also, during this ceremony, bring on our Gold Humanism Honor Society students, our fourth-year students that have been chosen by their peers and faculty. We pin them during the ceremony as a symbol to the first-year class to say, this is what we want you to be like someday.
My family is really my friends. My group of cohorts really support me in whatever I do, and you realize that everybody here is what they are. They are happy, they are excited to be here, they are excited to be learning medicine, and it really just drives you to continue to do that as well. Well, a little personal experience. I'm actually a cancer survivor, so I have a very strong compassion for oncology. And one of the things that I want to do is pediatric oncology. So I see myself heading in that direction. I feel like I'm more prepared to be a doctor through that experience. So everything happens for a reason. I'm pretty sure that happened for a reason. And you know, my dreams coming to fruition is something that's totally unreal. So it was really exciting.
Congratulations, class of 2019.
Scuba diving is just one of the many Sunshine State attractions, but if the depths beyond our beautiful beaches aren't challenging enough, then maybe cave diving is for you.
Despite the one-of-a-kind experience, cave diving can be a very dangerous activity. But researchers at Florida State are improving divers' knowledge of cave structures with their latest research. More than 20 years after the death of world record-holding cave diver Parker Turner, FSU Oceanography professor Dora Knopf provides a solution surrounding the mystery of Turner's death and what causes underwater caves to collapse.
So the conventional wisdom among cave divers and others were that the reasons that cave collapse is they simply grow too much because the water dissolves the limestone, that it continues to dissolve it, and after a long, long time, the cave ceiling becomes too close to the surface and it collapses, and this is actually how sinkholes are formed. When bubbles accumulate, it reduces the weight of the water surrounding the rock. And the case here is that the rock, once divers pass under it, the rock weighs suddenly more. So let's say that that rock weighed 3,000 pounds, and the structure of the cave is allowing to hold 3,000 pounds. Some divers pass by, and suddenly it weighs 5,000 pounds. Well, the structure of the cave does not allow for 5,000 to be attached to the roof, and it collapses. We can prepare for the future in many ways. There need to be some classifications of caves that will be more prone to this than others. There are these gadgets called rebreathers, where instead of using tanks that you expel the air, the rebreathers, you don't expel the air. You keep the air goes through a loop. There is a filter that removes the CO2 and gives you the air to breathe again and again and again. So those caves, we need to use rebreathers rather than regular tanks.
Florida State University researchers have uncovered some findings that could one day enhance diabetes research.
Are these disease variants?
Yeah, so I'm going to add the disease mutations in.
FSU researcher and associate professor of chemistry Brian Miller and his postdoctoral researcher Carl Whittington have discovered a new way to activate an enzyme that is an essential part of regulating insulin distribution in the body. This new discovery could help uncover new ways to treat the disease down the road.
So we would make the mutations, then make the proteins in the lab and see how the disorder, the flexibility, how the structure all changed. And what we were able to find is that it turns out a subset of these disease mutants, looked quite a bit different than what we had seen in the past, and sort of, for a little while we were a little confused by the results, and we had to come up with, expand our model, expand our explanation of how these disease mutants work to encompass this new form of regulation or misregulation in the form of disease.
And so I think long term, over the next 10 years or so, we'd really like to get a full picture of how this protein's structure and its dynamics become realized inside of a cell and inside of a living system, and provide the glucose sensing capabilities that it does.
Well, coming up next on FSU Headlines, finally football returns to Doak Campbell Stadium.
We'll show you how the Seminoles kicked off the new season and what's ahead when FSU Headlines continues in a moment.
Welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker.
And I'm Nora Bertollet, joining you from the campus of Florida State University.
Nora, it's my favorite time of year. A new semester means there's plenty to do on campus, and that includes football.
Absolutely, Dennis. And the Florida State football team headed into the season with some high expectations thanks to a top 10 ranking in all the major polls. During the Labor Day weekend, they kicked off the 2015 campaign at home in Doak Campbell Stadium.
FSU Headlines reporter Molly Reed joins us now to break down the start of the Seminoles season. Molly?
Hey guys, the three-time defending ACC champions are out to repeat the season with some returning players and also some new stars. The Florida State University football team came into the season with some questions on the offensive side of the ball. With Heisman Trophy winner Jameis Winston now in the NFL, the Noles had to answer who would be the next signal caller. Well, after a great fall camp, that job goes to senior transfer Everett Golson. In his first start, Golson made the most of his time on the field, throwing for 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no turnovers. Of course, the schedule will continue to get tougher from here on out as the Noles have tough ACC games against Miami, Louisville, and Clemson ahead. All in all, the season is off to a promising start for the Noles, who will look to play their way back into the college football playoff again this year. On to the other football, the FSU women's soccer team is off to a hot start in their title defense. The soccer team entering the year with a big target on their back as the national champions from a year ago and a #1 ranking to start the year. So far, the team is getting everyone's best shot and standing up to the challenge with some big wins already this year. Early season wins over New Mexico, Southern California, and Texas A&M kept the Noles in the top 5 of the ACC rankings heading into their schedule. Big games against national powers North Carolina, Virginia, and Virginia Tech will test the Seminoles later this season. To see a full list of the Noles games, visit Seminoles.com. That's going to do it for sports. Let's send things back to you.
All right, thanks for that update, Molly. Along with the university's teams and school spirit, there is another lesser-known college tradition that has students lining up to take part.
Did you get a helmet?
Biking is one of the more common forms of transportation for college students, and Florida State is helping students get around campus with a Recycle Bike program. Students are able to rent bicycles by the semester or even for the entire academic year at a reasonable cost. The perks of the program includes basic maintenance, a new helmet, and a lock.
We go in and we find the best bikes to incorporate into our fleet. So how I go about choosing bicycles that were abandoned is picking out the ones that are most acceptable for our fleet, the ones that need the least repairs. And University Cycles on Gain Street actually does all repairs, and they're wonderful. They actually assist our students if they have a flat tire, and they'll take care of them right away.
Carissa and the members of Recycle Bike help students find the right bike and offer bicycle safety courses throughout the semester. The program's popularity is growing so fast, there is a waiting list for students hoping to rent a bike for spring 2016.
To check out more on Recycle Bike, visit sustainablecampus.fsu.edu. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of FSU Headlines, but you can see more news from Florida State University anytime at Florida State 24/7.
It's the official news website of Florida State University, and you can find it at news.fsu.edu.
On behalf of Nora and everyone else here at Florida State University, I'm Dennis Schnitker. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.